I'm Carrie Peters, a recognized thought leader in the Microsoft Dynamics community and a Microsoft MVP for business applications. Welcome to the Get Your New View podcast. Keep listening to learn how to increase utilization of your business systems, allowing your Business Central and NAV solutions to be a catalyst for your business growth and profitability. When we're done, I'll let you know how you can get in touch to put your goals and ideas into action and start moving your business forward. So I'd like you to welcome today's guest to our podcast, Cynthia Priebe. Cynthia is a senior trainer and consultant with New View Strategies, and I've asked her to join us today to tell us her favorite story about customer success with business improvement. Cynthia, who did you think of for your example for our podcast audience today?
Well, actually, I was thinking about Debbie, and it was actually a fairly recent occurrence, so very fresh in my mind. And I was asked by Debbie's boss to be involved in helping her document her processes and to, in the process, uncover quick wins where we might be able to look for a better way to do something. So Debbie and I started digging in. And when you asked me about doing this with you, this one particular process came to mind. And it was something that Debbie did. And she was working with getting information out of another system. And it took her 9 steps to get that information done. Now, she wasn't doing anything incorrectly. It was just very painful and not very efficient, right? When you look at something and you say, oh my gosh, 9 steps to get something done. So in the process of getting this information from the other system, she'd go to the other system. She would filter the data in that system. She would export that to Excel. She would add data to her results. She would remove data from her results. She added columns. She rearranged columns. She took that information and she would take it and she opened up a template that she had saved. She had to add rows to the template that she saved. Then she copied the data in there. Then she double checked it again and she made a couple more changes and so on. Oh my gosh, it was just so painful to watch.
Yeah, I'm tired just hearing you talk about it. And it's a really typical story that we hear from a lot of customers of many, many steps to make something like that work.
And it was really hard to watch and kind of bite my lip as I was watching her and let her get through the whole thing. And we have to be careful too, because when people are doing this work, they're doing it to the best of their ability.
Absolutely.
I wasn't thinking, oh, this person is trying to make her job hard.
Right.
She's doing what she learned or what she thought was right. So I kind of watched her go through that and asked her, okay, so now with all of this, it seems like there's a lot of potential for error here. You're making a lot of changes. She said, well, yeah, and the problem is that the errors that I've made aren't really obvious right away. And sometimes it'll take weeks or months before they show up. And then even then, it takes me a long time to figure out the source of the error was something that I did when I was doing this process.
Yeah.
And it was just, and I sat there and I said, this is one of those situations where what you are doing isn't necessarily wrong, but would it be okay with me if I maybe showed you a righter way to go about this? And of course, she was like, yes, please.
Right.
So I said to her, I said, if you had a customer that came to you and said, you're providing me with some information, and if you could make a few changes to that information, it would make my job a lot easier. What would you do? And she said, well, we jump all over it. Of course, we want to take care of our customers. So I said, well, why don't we ask the supplier of this data to make a few changes for us? And if we make those changes and I show you a few other things, I think we can make this process a lot better. So we reached out to the provider of the data. And the provider of the data said, oh, yeah, I can do that. In fact, within 2 hours, we had a change.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, well, I didn't even realize it was going to be that easy. And of course, she was incredulous.
Yeah.
And she says, okay, but now what do we do? And I said, well, let's do this. Let's take that information now that we have. We just have to apply a very simple filter to it. And we're going to export it to Excel. And then we're going to copy the rows. and then we're going to paste them into the journal in Business Central. 9+ steps down to 3 steps.
Amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. And guess what? We weren't manipulating in the data anymore. We were just filtering the results. And so we eliminated all of those potential for errors that were occurred by that manipulation. And she was just like, oh my gosh. And she says, I can't wait to keep going with this project because I have a feeling you're going to find more situations like this. And we did. We did find more.
Fantastic. One thing that I heard in your story, Cynthia, as you were telling it, was that the turning point here with this customer is after you observed what she was doing, you knew the right next question to ask. And the question was really of that vendor to ask them if they could send that file to them. And I find that a lot of times this is the benefit of having somebody experienced to help you with these kind of business process improvement projects, simply because those folks have seen quite a few things out there, and we can answer the question of, but what are other companies doing to solve this? So how do you feel that your experience helped you with this particular customer situation?
It was definitely the first thought that came to my mind was to talk to the provider of the data.
Yeah.
It never occurred to her.
Yep.
Now, I will tell you that I learned that from somebody because I was in that exact same situation. I was working with a system and I was getting data and I was manipulating it. And somebody said to me, Cynthia, what would you do? So it was having been there in that same situation that made it very easy for me to realize that there was an alternative to what she was doing. And I think that we get so wrapped up sometimes in what we're doing and we're so in the weeds that we don't realize that there's got to be a better way. Something might be niggling back there, but this is just what I have to do to get my job done.
Right.
And Carrie, how many times do we see that?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time, daily. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Well, how many hours do you think she saved with that improvement? Do you know?
So actually, I do know, because towards the end of the documentation project, because this we uncovered very early on, she let me know that just that one save, which was, by the way, a daily function that she performed, her thoughts were between half an hour to an hour each day.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then on top of that, she was looking forward to not spending the time down the road trying to solve the source of the errors that would have been created if she kept going that way. And I do have to say that when all was said and done with working with this is one user, by the way, in an organization, just one person, we were able to save close to a day of time, so that now she was able to focus on getting reporting out of the system that her boss always wanted, because he kept saying, I can't understand why she has to spend so much time on daily tasks. I need information.
Right. Yeah, it's that opportunity benefit, the opportunity to be able to do something else with the time that you saved.
Yes.
That's very cool.
And I have to say, selfishly, that was like the best day of the project.
Fantastic.
Because somebody was telling me, oh my gosh, what we've done here has made a difference.
Yeah. Do you feel like this was really transformative to that particular customer?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, because I was done doing my work with her, she actually said, I'm really going to miss all of the little golden nuggets that we also found in our interaction. And you have made my job so much easier, but I understand that you need to move on to the next person in the organization and do the same thing for that person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, how can you get a better response than that?
Better than that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. What a great story. Thank you so much for coming today to share that with us. Folks, if you are listening to the podcast, you'll hear stories from Cynthia and other members of our team coming up, talking about customer success stories and how business process improvement has been transformative to them. Thanks for being here, Cynthia.
I loved being here, Carrie. Thanks for asking me.
I'm Carrie Peters. Thank you for tuning in to the Get Your New View podcast. For more episodes like this on YouTube, click the subscribe button and ring the bell to ensure that you get notified whenever new content comes out. If you're listening to the audio podcast, please share an honest review on Apple Podcasts. If you are ready to rethink today for tomorrow, look for the link below and contact us to speak with our expert team. You won't find the level of no-nonsense, real-world experience we offer anywhere else, and we're here to put that experience to work for you. Do you think you could use more features of your software if you just knew how? Are you frustrated with inefficiency that never seems to get better? Did your team ever really get good training to understand how to use your business software? Do you suspect that there just has to be a better way, but you don't know what that is? We believe every company can benefit from increased efficiency and higher utilization of their software, and that it's possible to have fun while learning exactly how to do that. The experts at NewView Strategies will tap into the true power of Dynamics Business Central and NAV for your company by helping you to rethink today for tomorrow. Please contact us at getyournewview.com to get started.